Many documentaries are of the talking head variety, where different individuals are interviewed about a particular subject and their comments are strung together, interspersed by suitable illustrative material, and the whole endeavour is guided by voiceover. But there are other striking ways of telling true stories through documentaries, and one very original example is a film called Leviathan, which has been enjoying a successful festival run in Europe and North America. You never really know what's going on in this documentary. It's difficult to become oriented, which is partly deliberate. The film, which resembles a scientific observation of a subculture, is a look at life on board a fishing vessel as it plies the North Atlantic. There's no commentary, no interviews, no meaningful dialogue, but there are lots of strong images and sounds. Leviathan has been put together by filmmakers and anthropologists Verena Paravel and Lucienne Castaigne-Taylor.
I suppose what was conscious was the desire to immerse the viewer into a very unfamiliar world, a sort of cosmic, diabolical kind of world, set in the middle of nowhere with no horizon, no bearings, basically in the middle of the night. And I suppose we were struggling against dominant forms of documentary and journalism. It's usually experts talking or native informants talking about what their life's about rather than actually watching people live their lives. And we thought it would be much more ambitious and profound to really try to give you a vicarious but real sense of what it was like to inhabit this boat and what kind of the labour conditions were.
The action on board the vessel was captured unconventionally, not through a single lens, but by an array of miniature video cameras.
We handed them to the fishermen. We didn't handhold them, but we put them on their heads like miners' lamps, or on their wrists or on their chests, to try to capture a much more intimate, sort of physically immersive and engrossing representation of what they were doing and what it was like to be on the boat. So we had, I would guess, up to 12 of these cameras, 11 or 12, one or two of which we lost. We also put them on the end of 12-foot sticks, so we could put them underwater and hold them up in the sky and so on.
The documentary is 87 minutes long. There's a 6-minute sequence shot during the day, but otherwise it's a strictly nocturnal affair.
It seemed aesthetically more interesting to set the whole thing at night, because it's at night when you really realise how disorienting it is. You don't really know what is up and what is down, what is air, what is sea. You're in 30-foot swells on an 80-foot boat. You really have no idea what's going on half the time.
How do you actually work to get the fishermen on board the vessel to cooperate with you, to win over their trust?
It was surprisingly easy because industrial fishermen feel very marginalised. They're doing this utterly exhausting, repetitive activity. So to have one, or in our case, two outsiders on the boat was a little bit exotic, was a little bit exciting to them.
And what do they make of the film?
I think they feel that it perhaps is evocative to outsiders, that it's a world that they know, and I think they're glad that their world could be represented in a way that seems faithful to how they experience it. It's a mixture of apprehension and excitement, and I think they're waiting to see what the world will make of the film, just as the rest of us are.
It takes a while to get used to watching Leviathan, but its sounds and images do very effectively convey a haunting portrait of working life on board a fishing vessel. It's a hard, gruelling, unforgiving view of commercial fishing that's up on screen, and Leviathan succeeds in bringing it home, at least in visceral terms, probably just as well, if not better than any polished, standard-issue documentary could perhaps ever do.